War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. Always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, whether you're watching here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, however you got here, whenever you got here. We appreciate you being here, spending time being part of our little family within the Auburn family. It's Wednesday night, which means our normal, although at a different time tonight, an hour earlier, and probably for a shorter amount of time tonight, our Wednesday night Auburn family live stream, our call-in show where we talk about anything and everything. This is the show that is dictated by you, for you. The content will specifically be about what you want to discuss tonight, whether you are just watching, whether you are chatting along on in the comment section, whether you are going to call in tonight. We'll open that up in just a little bit. This is your show about what you want to talk about related to Auburn. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off our show like we always like to do. Make sure you use this as your check-in period. All together in unison right now, smash the like button. Just smash it away, just like that. Thousands of, well, actually don't repeat, smash it, because I think that actually will cancel it out. Then you have to do it again, all that stuff. Do it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, not Instagram, all the wherever you're watching this, do that. And then make sure you as well in the comments section, go ahead and warm those typing fingers up and let me know where you're watching from, city, state, international. I know a lot of you are used to doing that, but continue to do that. It does kind of help us get the chat started and everybody kind of used to that, but also lets people know that who else is here hanging out with us discussing Auburn stuff tonight. Last few things of housekeeping before we dive into saying hello, dive into talking about some Auburn topics tonight. We will end right before 8 o'clock, no matter what is going on, because Auburn basketball's on, baby. Speaking of which, we're going to have a post-game live stream show that you do not want to miss directly after that game tonight, so don't miss that as well. So this isn't the only time that you're going to be able to check in with me, hang out tonight. We got some basketball to watch and talk about in just a little bit, so use this as your kind of warm-up to get things started for you tonight as you get ready for men's basketball versus Georgia State. We're going to go and open up the call-in lines right now, too. So you can utilize that. It is up at the top of the chat, and it's always brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. Be sure to check them out. You can see their logo popping up there in the top of the window with me. Allthingsauburn.net. We'll mention them again in just a little bit. So if you want to click on that, call in. You can be on camera, off camera. It's whatever you'd like to do. And if we get a lot of people backing up, we may have to just kind of cut some people short tonight. So just be aware of that with the limited time, later start for me. Well, I got off to not an early start, even though we're starting earlier. It was really confusing, Kyle. Anyway, I'm just excited to be here. Happy that we're still being able to pull off a Wednesday night live stream, albeit an hour earlier than normal. So let's say hello to some of you fine people that are already here. John says, good morning. Is this morning for you, John? I think this is, you work different hours than everybody else. Linda, Stan, Susan, Dusty checking in, Poetic Tiger on Facebook. Lots of people from all different platforms checking in and saying hello. And I know I keep looking over here and I'm getting distracted, but I run a separate, it's technically my phone, but I'm trying to monitor, how the stream is going and stuff like that while I obviously engage with you all and talk about things, because it's hard to kind of manage it all by yourself. Thomas, good to see you. Thanks for calling in tonight, or checking in. Maybe you'll call in. All right. What is on your mind tonight? What do you want to discuss? Auburn related. We can even get to non-Auburn related tonight if you must do so. But I will say this. Let me start off with something that's not necessarily Auburn related again, but I said this on our last shorter live stream that we've been trying out sometimes in the mornings when we were planning to talk, and we did talk about Tank Bigsby deciding that he was going to go into the draft literally about the same time we were going live for that. The announcement came that Mike Leach had passed away. I cannot express to you how odd it is for me that it's hitting me as hard as it has. And I've not been the only one to say that. I've actually heard it from a lot of different people, Auburn fans, other non-Mississippi State fans, that you don't really realize the effect, and to some degree you do realize the effect that one particular personality had on college football, but college sports, and in a sense pop culture too, because he was a celebrity in and of himself, that Mike Leach was. And it is still sad to think about. We will never, ever again be able to hear that man at SEC Media Days. It's sad that we'll never have to worry his specific style of offense, how to defend against it. It is a terrible tragedy that I did not foresee coming. And if anybody else had any thoughts about Mike Leach, so you're free to talk about that tonight as well, even if you want to call in and talk about that. It's just, it's one of those things that really bums you out when the reality starts setting in that this is real. And so again, our condolences continue to go out to Mike Leach's family, the Mississippi State family, anybody else that was close and connected with him. It was very sad news that came through indeed. Devin's checking in. Good to see you. John says work starts for me at 9 p.m. Wow, sir. So you must sleep all day. I do not. I never had to work a regular job with those type of hours, but I worked at a previous job where sometimes on a blue moon, you'd have to go in to your specific hours. And I just remember those at that specific job were miserable for me. I am a night owl, but I like to be kind of doing my own thing when I'm a night owl, not actually pinned down to a 9 to 5. Thomas, the Pirate will be greatly missed. That is an understatement, man. It's so funny just to consider him, the Pirate. Of course, as soon as everybody got over the initial, and not over, but got through the initial sadness of it, we're doing all kinds of pirate puns and Jack Sparrow memes and gifs and all that kind of stuff, rightfully so. And he would have enjoyed that. And there's really cool connections too between Auburn and him specifically and Mississippi State. So I thought honestly about doing a video kind of detailing that. If that's something that you guys would like to do, I can, or I guess we can discuss it here. It was kind of something I was saving and thinking about doing. We are in a slight quiet period of a very, very busy time for Auburn fans. Hires galore right now, which are now official, starting to come around. Commits and flips galore. Basketball season is finally getting into full swing. It's already been in there. I mean, everything else is going to get gearing up. Gymnastics. This is like the one day so far, the last couple of days, where I've been able to kind of like breathe for half a second and do some other things. All right, you guys continue to chat in the chat. We've got our first caller in. So we're going to go ahead and talk to them so that we can go ahead and make sure that we don't get too far behind in case others want to call in tonight. You know him, you love him, Mr. Dusty. What's going on, sir?
Good evening, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well, sir. Excited for some men's basketball action tonight.
Yeah, we got to bounce back. So it always makes it, after you lose, you always kind of look forward to the next game a little bit more.
You certainly do. I was at the Hoopsgiving game here in Atlanta. I live outside of Atlanta, and it's a great showing by the fans. And in some areas, a decent showing by the team, just a little too late. Definitely exposed some weaknesses that we might have as a team. And the great thing is that it's on paper or on tape this early for others to see, but for us to see and change as well. So do you think it's Georgia State and you should beat them? Just don't dismiss them. But do you think we'll see some work, some of those issues that we saw arise during Hoopsgiving? Do you think those will get worked on in this game?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Kyle, it's not necessarily about obviously we wish that our free throw shooting would improve. We wish that our shooting overall would improve. But for me, man, it's more about just little things. Like I kind of wonder about Zep playing the two as much as he is. It's just, how does that work? I talked about this with your buddy Gray. What do you do with Chance? Because he's just not playing well. And I'm not trying to – it's nothing negative,
Right. You're just talking about the current. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations. And I understand a freshman with an injury. So there's just little questions like that. I hope that, Jalen was sick, right? Oh, Jalen played. Jalen played. Yeah, he just didn't have a good. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Well, but if you remember, and I think Bruce detailed this a little bit in 2 press conferences ago, maybe it was 1 press conference ago. It doesn't matter. So he was sick right before the last game before Holiday Hoopsgiving, was out of that game, I believe, and then still was having to recover leading up to Holiday Hoopsgiving. And so you can imagine when you're out for that extended period of time during finals week, it can mess you up a little bit, man.
Yeah, my main concern with Memphis, buddy, was the rebounding. That was really the shooting. Like, I don't we're a good shooting team. So to me, I don't expect it. Like, if we shoot good that night, then I take it less. I just don't think this team is going to be consistent. And good defense. We created 19 turnovers. We just got really out rebounded, and there was a lot of loose balls that we just didn't come up with and things like that. It was just some balls didn't go our way. It was just a weird night. And Memphis is a really good team. I watched them last night and kind of had to come to the realization there's another really good team, but in the state. But they're playing good ball. So, but as far as tonight goes, man, I just obviously want everybody to remain healthy, and there's nothing really that I'll see. And I'm looking more towards the West Coast trip. I just want to win the game by double digits. And like I said, just the role is kind of getting a little bit more defined. And I would feel really good if Johan Trehor had a good game tonight. Like, I'm looking for things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. We've got these, at least perceived phenoms, Johan Trehor, Chance Westry, and Janai too. Those were the big 3 that everybody was really excited. And Trey Donaldson's part of that equation too. But just in terms of the assessment by the fans, those were the 3 that everybody was super stoked about coming in and being a part of the team. And there's not been a ton of statistical production yet. I think a lot of times people forget the things that are done outside of the scoring. I'm not saying that about you or anyone in particular, but it's hard sometimes for people to see. So like when you talked about Zepp, Zepp wouldn't be starting if there wasn't some intrinsic value that he brings to the table being out there, whether it's statistics or not.
No, defensively, he's a beast.
He is. And so that's, for me, the reason we are so good on defense is because of guys like Zepp, because they set the tone. Kate, and then think about it. Katie's not starting right now on a typical night outside of, sicknesses, injuries, those type of things. But the second that, and I'm not saying that one goes in and the other comes out, but the minute that Zepp kind of sets the tone with that defensive start and the others around him with the starters, then all of a sudden that change of pace of Katie, that little monstrosity of just a gnat that he is for other teams, comes in and just destroys and wreaks havoc with people. You never get to really catch a breath for Auburn on defense outside of the last game. Now, we were being, in my opinion, there was the effort there. There was the tenacity there. There just wasn't the mental execution there. Backdoor cuts, wide open. I was standing sometimes, but in the upper deck of State Farm Arena for most of the game. And like how far and high up you were, you could like look straight down and kind of basically like you had a bird's eye view of what was going on. I was like, there comes the screen. I'm watching it come, and there's nobody picking up on help defense. So these are all things they know. These are all things that they see. We're not telling them anything different. That's what I'm wanting to see tonight. I want to see less of a more concentration on help defense tonight. That's what my key is.
Yeah, that zone ate us up. And what I wanted to talk about really was with the I don't know how you said it, Scully.
Yeah,
just commented. This is so refreshing. This is so refreshing.
Merry Flipmas.
It's well, we're in a position, buddy, where we have to.
Yep.
We fell so far behind, and a guy like Connor Liu, this is such a big get. You probably don't remember how frustrated I was in the middle of the summer.
Oh, I remember. You had there was a switch that you had just like turned off at that point for you. Just like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah, Connor Liu was the situation that just completely did it for me.
Yes.
It's awesome. And I would love to hear Thomas's thoughts. I don't know if Thomas has watched any film on him, but everyone that I trust, that's way better, way smarter with those kind of things. They say that this kid is at least your second string right now.
Oh, yeah.
At least on your 2 deep, and probably going to be a 3-year starter for you at the minimum. So that's just, man, that's such a huge get. And I felt like we were going to get Jada today, the offensive tackle that decommitted from South Carolina. Deion Sanders called him, so he's taking a visit there this weekend, and then he's deciding after that. We'll see how that goes. Maybe
that goes.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, looking through my and I may be being a homer here. I might have my Auburn goggles on, but I'm not. You never like that. You never like a kid taking his last visit in that kind of situation. But it's like, man, I almost encourage it. Go out there and look at their facilities. Because I know he's looked. I know he's looked at Auburn's. He's seen the Performance Center now, the brand new one. So go check out what they've got going on, and then if that's where you want to go play, whatever.
Yep.
And you could ask yourself this too: is Deion Sanders even going to be there for my 4 years compared to how long is Hugh Freeze going to be at Auburn? I really think that I think this is going to work. I think Hugh Freeze fits, and I myself have kind of, I don't know if taking a step back would be the right word, but just Brian Harsin showed me some things that I didn't think Auburn was capable of. I didn't know that Auburn could achieve those depths. I didn't know it could sink that low. I never would have imagined we would have had to have had an apology dinner for 150 high school coaches from Georgia and Alabama at Baumhauer's. But this is so great. And even going back to Gus, who was a good recruiter. Gus was a really good recruiter. Just the focus on offensive line for some reason. Me and you talked about Herb Hand. It just went away towards the end, and it was just baffling because Gus knows better.
Yeah.
So it was just really strange, and just to see such the focus. I don't know where we'll land as far as rankings and all that go, but man, it's got to make you feel confident for how Hugh is going to do in the 2024 class when he has his hands for a full year on it. These new recruits, Kyle, we don't have to tell them. We don't have to show them pictures and graphics of what the new Performance Center is going to be. They can come see it, and they'll get to move into it. Yeah, it's there. It's all there. And on to Victory's in place now to work out all that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, I'm so optimistic just because they want. It seems like they want to, and if you bring Cody Burns back, that's just another great. And Looper can recruit too, but if you bring Cody back, first off, are we really
what makes you think he's coming back?
It's out there.
What makes you think he's coming back, my friend?
It's out there. There's things out there. I don't know.
Did you notice? Let me just say, did you notice that I was grinning from ear to ear when we started this? When we started, listen, there's still speculation out there. This thing could go 90 different ways. There's one position coach left to fill. Special teams, yes, but sometimes that gets folded under someone else's purview. We'll see what goes on with that. But it's the way I've got this situated now. Y'all can't see the Cadillac picture anymore, which is a shame. It's right over here. That's my boy. My other boy, for other reasons, is Cody Burns. Come home, Cody. Come home.
Man, I love me some Zach Etheridge. I'm not just saying that. He's one of my favorite players because of what he went through. It's a situation I have something like similar to in my family. I've always loved Zach. Obviously, Cadillac's my favorite player. Everybody loves Cadillac. You're talking about a staff of Cadillac, Zach, possibly Cody. It's pretty cool, man. How do I feel about Grayson McCall, Thomas? I want to touch on something real quick that Cam said. Cam, she had a shoes that Freeze secured the unofficial from. I agree with you. I still, I'm going to hold out the hope. I think they'll go to Bama. But here's the thing with that. Just look at a situation like that. And they ask yourself, man, if these guys were 2024 kids, I bet they'd be coming to Auburn. I mean, because this is the third staff we've thrown at them now, the third staff, and we're probably going to finish second. So man, for the future, we got some guys that know what they're doing. And Thomas, I wish I would have loaded into Madden. On my Madden, I have Grayson McCall because Brady retired on the Bucks, and I drafted Grayson McCall. I love the mullet. I'm a huge Grayson McCall fan. I love his attitude. I love his moxie. There's a little bit of Baker Mayfield in there. I just think he's an exceptional college quarterback. He's very accurate. He's 8 interceptions in his 3 years of playing. There's so much to like there. If we get Grayson McCall, and look, I love Robbie, and I want to see Robbie in Hugh Freeze's
Absolutely, yeah.
But here's the thing with that: Robbie had to play with some pretty serious injuries because we had no other option.
Right.
And we plan on being in a position next year to be playing for something, at least bowl positioning and things like that. You gotta have more stuff there. It can't be down to just Robbie and Holden. So I would be ecstatic. I hope that Grayson McCall and Ra Thomas link up and talk about what wonderful things they could do, because they could, and the opportunity is there. And it's like with Jada, yeah, man, I get it. It's prime time, but like, man, you're talking about coming to the SEC and you're going to start right away at Auburn. Like, you're going to be in games like Auburn LSU, you're going to be in Auburn, Georgia, you're going to be in the Iron Bowl. That's just something that Colorado doesn't offer you. And quite frankly, what's a situation like Connor Lew, it's a joke tweet, but it's true. A lot of people are tweeting out, do you want to play in front of 9,000 people or do you want to play in front of 90,000 people? Right. And that's real. That's a real thing. So everyone out there, come to Auburn.
Come and see is the big tagline. We'll see what happens with McCall. Many others that are still kind of floating.
The big tight end, Fairweather.
Yeah, exactly. There's a plethora of people out there. You know, there were 2 cryptic tweets by Hugh Freeze that seemed to indicate something. And it seemed like one of those has already happened. So the other shoe seems to need to drop. And we'll see what happens with that.
My favorite thing on one of those tweets, somebody said, Coach, you deserve some downtime, but with all due respect, can you wait till after signing day to go fishing? Like, oh, yeah.
So you don't get it.
new to this tweeter thing, are we? Yeah. Whoa! Right. I remember when I was new to Twitters.
All right, I got somebody else on the line, but good to hear from you tonight, Dusty.
All right, brother. Hey, War Eagle, man.
War Eagle. All right, bye. All right, always great to hear from Dusty. Let's get our next guy in here. He's been waiting for some time. Mr. Optimism. What's going on, Kevin? Love that hat.
War Eagle, Cal.
War Eagle. How you doing, Kev?
And Merry Christmas.
Merry early Christmas. Yes, I am. You know what? I failed you guys. I didn't turn the lights on. I gotta. Where do you want me to? So I gotta change the positioning of the lights here, because like all you get to see is this right here. Where do you want me to move them to, Kevin? Like back here?
Yeah.
I was thinking like if I run it like I can't get my finger like up the seam here and then kind of back down somewhere over here. I don't know. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to take up your time doing that, but it was on my mind in that. What's on your mind tonight?
Where is Cody Burns at?
Cody Burns currently, if I'm not mistaken, is the wide receiver coach for the New Orleans Saints. So he got a little bit of pro exposure over the last few years after he left when Harsin got here, right? Yeah. He left when Harsin didn't retain him and moved on to bring in Cornelius Williams. And then obviously Ike Hilliard. What's that?
All them got fired.
They did. So there is a spot open for somebody, whoever wants it. Cody seems to be one that's out there. I personally would be over the moon about that as the biggest Cody Burns fanboy ever.
How about Damon Craig?
If you're asking me my preference, I will take whoever wants to come. Just, be honest. But Damian Craig to me falls in the category of we've been there, we've done that, and you could make the same case for Cody Burns. To me, it seems like Damian would be at a place in his career where he'd want the next step up. So
where's he at?
He's at Texas A&M with Jimbo right now, and I think he's still just quarterback. He may be co-OC now, but I can't remember in title alone. I personally would very much like to do something different than Damian Craig. However, you can't deny his recruiting prowess, and he's an Auburn guy, so that's 2 wins right there for him. But
Bring
we know
Tracy-
we know Cody can recruit. We know that Cody has got the fanfare part of this thing down, so he checks a lot of those boxes too.
bring back Tracy Rocker.
Tracy Rocker has had the opportunity to come back, and he's chosen not to. So I don't think it's so much a matter of we want him, whether Tracy Rocker wants to be back here.
Did we get some guys who flipped their commitments to Auburn?
About 4 flips now, I think. I
4?
think it was 3 in a row. Let's see if I can do it. Connor Liu, Colton Hood, and Johnson, the offensive lineman. And then I feel like there's one more. What's that?
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson. Thank you. I couldn't remember his first name.
And that new kid, his uncle played for Auburn.
Yes, Roderick Hood. I remember Roderick Hood. I loved him as a kid growing up. Actually, in an old version of Madden, I tried to assemble an Auburn team on Madden of the players that were currently. You couldn't fill a whole team, but this was a time when Jason Campbell was still at the Washington Redskins and was the quarterback there. What's that?
Where is Jason Campbell now?
Jason Campbell's in the radio booth. So he's he's more of the halftime guy, but with Stan White retiring, we may see Jason Campbell get a shot at the big leagues there.
How come Stan White retired?
I don't know. I meant to look into that a little bit. Not that I think he's, publicly shared his reasoning with that. I think mainly it was just family stuff, commitments, like, those typical type of things are said, but maybe somebody else knows in the chat and they can share, but I don't remember a reason. Not that I really looked into it.
We got a guy named Darren Reed too.
Yep, that was the other flip, but that one was technically back. That was Cadillac's flip. That was before Hugh Freeze was named, so I wasn't really throwing that in there. I guess my 4th one I was thinking of, kind of like Dusty was talking about, that tackle that we thought would have already committed, but he's going to see Dion right now. So still 3 flips in a row, not just commits, flips in a row from Michigan State, from Miami, who's in forget what the other one was, Texas Tech. Those are all Power 5 programs that you flipped people from. That's pretty impressive.
I think our offense will be good next season.
Well, you'd sure hope so with a pedigree like I almost said Mike Leach, because I was looking at Mike Leach had a good offense too. May you rest in peace. The Hugh Freeze offense is prolific. It's well known. You would expect for it to be good, but nothing really is a certainty right now with this team. This first year is about finding a new foundation to work from, offensively, defensively, morale-wise, all those things. So to me, I don't have any expectations for next year, really.
Did 3 wide receivers come back to Auburn?
I know one did. I think Landon King pulled himself out, if I'm not mistaken, and I think Dawson, I think, did. Capers, I thought, was still in the portal, but there were some rumors on if he was going to come. There was one that stayed in and another one that came out. I can't remember exact things. If you guys know, let me know in the chat. I don't have all of those names straight.
I hope our basketball team wins tonight.
I really do too, because we need to feel good about basketball again after the disappointment of the game that I had. I'm starting to feel like I'm bad luck, Kevin, to be honest with you. Every time I go to a game this year, it feels like we either lose or almost lose. And I mean, the one exception was the last football game at home, but that was a homecoming or rinky-dink senior day game.
When I went to my high school football games this year, I went to 3 of them. We lost all 3 games.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
You're bad luck too, buddy. Can't go anymore. Well, listen, next year we're going to prove them wrong and prove that we were not the bad luck. You and I are going to go to a lot of games, and
Hey,
we will prove.
will
Well,
they have
hopefully they'll get it going, and we won't
a
be the bad luck anymore.
regular fan day next season?
We will not know that until probably, I'm guessing,
I
they
bet they will.
usually do it in August.
The new coach.
Maybe. We don't know. There's more things than a new coach playing against that now. They may do an open practice type of thing like they did.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good thing that they tried this past couple of years, but we'll see. We won't know for a long time though. Go ahead.
I went to the Auburn Arkansas game. I had fun at it.
Well, you had more fun than me because that loss was not good. I got time for one more question. What you got?
What the running backs? Who be the starter next season?
Great question. So obviously sad to lose Tank Bigsby. I think it's Jarquez Hunter's job to lose. He's more than earned it. Now the interesting thing is to me, him and Demaria Alston are similar-ish in the type of running back. So and there was a clear difference between Jarquez and Tank. So when you try to like change the pace up of the two, you're kind of, they're not exactly the same running back, but I wonder what's going to happen there. You've got Jeremiah Cobb if he follows through with his commitment, all that kind of stuff. And then, Sean Jackson, I believe, has still got some eligibility, and whoever else decides to come along for the ride. So we'll see. But I think Jarquez Hunter is your starter for now.
And Auburn women basketball team is 7-2 right now.
7-2, got it rocking. We'll see what happens when they get through the rest of the non-conference play and start that SEC tough road and home schedule for the rest of the 2022-23 season. Kevin, as always, buddy, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in and being our shining light of optimism.
Okay, War Eagle.
War Eagle, Kev.
Bye.
Bye. Good to see you. All right, there's our buddy Kev. Always good to hear from him. His great friend here at E2C Network and amongst the Auburn family. WT, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. We'll go back to some of the comments that you guys had that maybe we didn't hit. So keep dropping them if you want. Phone line is still open. I would stress to you, don't wait if you're wanting to call in tonight, because, we're going to be ending here 20 minutes max. I'm going to give enough time for us to load into that basketball game that's starting, which would be our normal start time. But let me remind you of our friends at allthingsauburn.net. They bring you the call-in link, this show each Wednesday night. Allthingsauburn.net. Check them out for a place not just to stay at Auburn, but have a full and complete Auburn experience. Tanya is one of the best Auburn people that I know. She'll help you find a place. They're located within the Auburn Game Day Center complex there, and they've got places for you to stay, but she goes above and beyond her level of service to help you out and not just find a place to stay, but to help get your way around if you need to. If you need help or advice on how things, she's a full concierge service of having a place to stay and experience Auburn. So allthingsauburn.net, check them out. Hunter, what's going on? War Eagle from Auburn. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Are we not entertaining enough, Devin? Are you not entertained? I'm way less entertaining than basketball. I promise you that. WT, Hugh Freeze is showing how you do SEC recruiting. Now, let me offer a contrary perspective to this, and this is probably going to turn some of y'all off. And probably should have prepared my thoughts on this. The hype and the success that Hugh Freeze is seeing right now should not be ignored, should not be dismissed. But there's also this kind of prevailing narrative out there that somehow only he or somehow other efforts weren't being made before they got here. It's not really a fair comparison in my eyes. Anytime someone changes over after you're having a bad year, you're going to have a lot more excitement and hype coming in. And again, that's not to take away from what Hugh Freeze is doing, but there's just a lot less critical thinking on that topic than I'd like for there to be personally. But I am very happy with what's going on right now. And that's not necessarily about UWT. It's just about the topic in general. I can't call in every time it shows. Let's see. Corey, good to see you. Thanks for being here. There was a comment earlier. I wanted to, Kevin Falk flip would be huge. That's one that a lot of people have been assuming would flip for a long time, even when he recruited or committed to Florida State, right? We'll see. We'll see. I think the tricky part is if you're hoping to get that Jalen Smith, is it Quay Rusal, double commitment, you're filling up with edge and defensive ends, and defensive tackles and stuff like not filling up, but you got a lot so far. What else here? Let's see. Just remember in the past, any year that ended in a number 3 was a great year for Auburn. Well, let's think about that. In the past, 2003 was not a great year. So there's your, I'm going to punch a hole in your logic there already. 2013 was great. 1993 was the undefeated season, right? Terry Bowden, right? I'm right on that. 2023 could be. 1983 was a good year. Now, 2003 was not a great year, but it had a great ending to it with that Bama game and some other things. So, P Pass, you gotta get a better name, buddy. just write Pass. I'm gonna start calling you Pass. You're FedExing snow to us. I would welcome some snow. So where I am located, we're like in this one sweet spot that always seems to get just teased with snow every year. It's not even like if it says it's going to snow, it will like at least flurry, but that's about it. We had snowpocalypse a few years back, which was great. We've had actually 2 really good snow since we lived in this house. There was talk we were going to have snow on the 23rd next week. And I was like, Christmas snow. Not that lucky though. Losing Rock hurt us with a lot of the DL guys. Are you talking about Rocker? That was a long time ago. I mean, are you talking about him? If you're talking about him being brought to the staff for Harsin and then decided not to stay and we had to go get somebody else, I mean, that's not his fault. I mean, Harsin's fault. That's the guy deciding he didn't want to do that, wanted to go to the NFL. 93 was the undefeated. Thank you for confirming that. You don't think it matters on how many guys? That could be true. That absolutely could be true. It may not matter to us, but it matters to some of these kids because they want more guaranteed playing time, more guaranteed starting time. Rock Bellatoni. How did I forget about? I love Coach Rock. I hate that he's not going to be here. It'd be nice to see if maybe we could keep him on to special teams, but I think that ship has sailed. So yes, anytime it's not just Rock, it's Ike too. You know, that's why Adam Hopkins, in theory, decommitted because we got rid of Ike. So it's not just like a Rock thing. It's not just a Coach Ike thing. It's not just a Schmedding thing or whoever else, Brumbaugh thing that you want to throw into that category. It's just when there's change, people want to reevaluate their options and see what they've got to do. But I'm sure in some instances, the specific coach, that being Coach Rock Bellatoni, which you said, could have hurt. Yeah. So if you haven't heard, even though we knew it was official because they had changed it in their Twitter bios and such, officially today, you have a offensive and defensive coordinator. It's like officially official. In fact, I'm going to look at something real quick live on the air while we're doing this. I want to see if they've been updated. I don't think they have. They are not updating the coaches list on the official website all that fast. So, but they were announced today on social media. So no turning back at this point. Your new OC, Philip Montgomery and Ron Roberts are your DC. I was discussing this with some people last night, and they were saying there's a lot of discussion about these are quiet home run hires. I'm really pushing that we don't even like label these as non-home run hires or home run hires. Let's just wait and see what happens. I really think this is a year where Auburn fans really, and this is just, me talking about this months and months in advance, really temper expectations, not because we don't have the potential to be good. We're Auburn. We've shown we have the potential to bounce back very quickly, but we just don't know what the damage has been done to this program from 2 transitions in 3 years. We haven't gone through something like that in ever. Well, I'm sure it's happened before, but in a long, long time. So we don't know how low the foundation is going to be, not just because of Harsin, but because we made a decision that brought Harsin here that I didn't agree with and got us to this point here. What matters is where we are now and where we go forward from here. We're going to get off here in just a few minutes, 10 minutes. So again, if you want to call in tonight, don't hesitate. That call line is open for just a few more. We'll probably actually close it down in 5 minutes. So I would hurry. Schedule sets up pretty nice next year. It is a huge thing for a head coach to be coming in their first year and your biggest games are at home. Georgia, Alabama, you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and then 3 non-conference games. 1 Cal will be on the road. Won't be an easy task. Easy task. Cal is not a great team these days, but shouldn't dismiss anybody at home, especially when we've been a little bit struggling at times ourselves. So the schedule home-wise is definitely in Hugh Freeze's favor. We have proven you just throw the records out with the Iron Bowl. At this point, no reason to even think that Auburn won't be in it no matter what's going on. Do you think we'll get the recruiting class in the top 25? Well, it depends on whose rankings you're looking at. If you want to just say like the consensus. I think we will just because of sheer numbers alone. Now, remember, if you're asking me, we'll be in the top 25 in a week's time on the early signing period, maybe. If you're asking me in February when the finals or the real signing day is, when we finish there, I would say, yeah. I would say it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world for Auburn to get into the top 25 recruiting-wise. Just because of who we are, frankly. Looking forward to see where Coach Ike goes. Yeah, he's a fan favorite coach, and obviously we wish all our former coaches well. Even Harsin. I know some of y'all don't, but you need to be better than that. I wish them well in whatever they want to do outside of Auburn. Coach Ike has proven that he's a good asset to a program, and hopefully he'll find a good landing spot. Yeah, so Coach Roberts' profile on social media, he has embraced the meme culture already and the laser eyes, and that's a great way to just kind of endear yourself, some early clout that you can earn with this fan base by doing that. That was a smart move on his part. I didn't take him for a guy that would embrace that, did y'all? Frankly, I didn't. That was pretty crazy to see that all go down. If he has a losing season, will people be talking about his job security? People will always be talking about that because, and frankly, to be completely transparent and honest with you, it will be about the non-football stuff. I told you it wasn't worth the ethical issues and all that kind of stuff. And so that's going to happen. Just ignore it. It's part of it. Even if it's about just losing alone, that's what they're mad at. Outside of moral, ethical issues, the coach is not going to be gone next year, even if he has a mega losing season. Now, if the team literally just doesn't show up each week, meaning like they lay down and don't score any points, then we've got a problem. But we cannot afford to do that anymore. What was your reaction when Hugh Freeze was announced as the new head coach? I think he'll do great at Auburn. We just got to give him a chance and some support. My initial reaction was kind of like it wasn't a yeah, it also wasn't a no. It was kind of, if there's a scale of positivity and negativity, we'll call this side the positive side, this side the negative side. I'm having to do this backwards. Like, think, find the middle point right here. I was probably just over here. So, this is the negative side over here. I was just on this side of the positive, mainly because I wanted something to feel good about. I saw a lot of pluses to that. I also I'm a sucker for a good redemption story, and because we all need one. And so I hope and pray that we get to be part of that continued redemption story, because I love Auburn being part of that. Auburn fans don't have patience. Well, fans in general don't have patience, but yeah, we've certainly displayed that over the years. All right, we got about 5 minutes left in the show here, and I agree. Smash that like button. Speaking of things that can cost you, this is a great segue. So keep your comments and questions coming. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way, though. At the end, I always got to remind you of stuff. First, a reminder: right after this show, we have not right after, I guess. We have about 2 hours and change right after the basketball game. We'll be going live again. Georgia State post-game reaction. Don't miss it. It's going to be fun. Also, you want to check out the links in the description for ways you could help support us if you want to financially. You can be a channel member. We've had somebody recently join up, and you showed up on the chat. Now I have to go back and find you. I'm going to do it. You can be a Booster Club member. Both of those things start at $1 a month. You don't have to do them, but they're available there for you. The Booster Club has some extra perks and extra levels. But the biggest things you can do is be a subscriber here on YouTube, be part of that subscriber giveaway, and smash that like button. It is a huge help to us. Even on social media, if you're watching there, do all those things for us. Help us continue to grow our little family within the Auburn family. It is a humongous help. I promise it is. Like it means the world when you do those small things like smashing the like button. Hoops time. Yep. Just about time. We're about to sign off here in just a little bit, but we want to take some final comments and questions for you guys. Oh, no. Devin just gave us breaking news. Katie's out for the night. I wonder if that is illness related. That's all still kind of going around. I feel like he was already sick once. Who knows? We'll have to find out why that is. So the tenacity has got to come from a different direction tonight. What this does, and it's interesting, right? Bruce talked about this, like when Jalen was out, or when forget who else was out, how Lior Berman got some more time, that it gives others opportunity to rotate into other positions, play other roles a little bit more frequently. So not saying you'll see Lior tonight, but you'll see probably some of these other guys who need to have more opportunities to showcase what they can do. Not necessarily Traore, but like Westry and Trey Donaldson, things like that may find some more time for themselves. If that's a rumor, I'm not going to bring that up. I'm not going to, not to say we're spreading stuff here, but I'm just not going to bring it up on the screen if that's true. Y'all can just find it in the chat. If Freeze only wins one big game this year, I want it to be against Georgia. My biggest hate goes there, which is still a fascinating thing to me, Corey. I'm not like disagreeing with your hate for Georgia, and maybe your more hate for him. It sounds like, I'm not saying more than Alabama, but it kind of sounds like it's there. But this is a common narrative that I'm finding a lot, especially people that are younger than me. And Corey, I can't remember how old you are, but it's very prevalent that the people younger than me almost or do hate Georgia more than Alabama. Let me just remind everybody, Alabama's the enemy. Georgia is enemy 1B, but it's still 1B. There is a 1A, or just a 1, a flat out 1, Yeah. If Freeze beats UA, he'll be my hero. What? It's an easy way to, especially at home, it's an easy way to be someone's hero. You're 42. Well, you got 7 years on me. There you go. Dusty doesn't spread stuff like that, so I'm pretty sure it's true. It's a rumor. I don't know if it's real. It's out there on the internet though. Yeah. So just be careful with that. But, they should have already here. We got a few minutes before we need to get off here. So we'll go ahead and confirm that they should have already put out the starting lineup tonight on social media. So I am looking right now. Stand by. Well, he wouldn't be in the starting lineup anyway, I guess. Never mind. So that was a stupid thing to say and do. Either way, we'll find out in just a little bit. I'm excited to watch this Georgia State. Remember, don't miss it right after the stream. Right after the game. The stream is here available for you to be a part of, have some fun with. We're going to talk about Georgia State. Don't miss it. Appreciate you guys being here on an early Wednesday night live show. Plan is next week to also do it again right before Christmas time. And we will update you as our schedule changes or doesn't as we get to the holiday, officially into the holiday season here. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, hanging out with me and being part of our little family within the E2C Network family and the Auburn family. Appreciate you guys so much. So see you after this basketball game. To talk to you again. War Eagle.